Hi, this is Jacob Anderson, an independent Shopsmith Mark V repair technician. I want to show you how things should look on a Shopsmith Mark V headstock so that you can compare your headstock to what you see here and look for obvious problems. And if you have obvious problems, this video is not going to show you how to fix them. It's just showing you there is a problem, and you can go ahead and send it in to me to be rebuilt. So this is a machine that I just finished this morning. This is the 1000th headstock that I've fixed since I've been specializing in the Mark V repairs. Shopsmith number 1000 that I've done. This is a Brownie machine from 1961. You can see the dark brown color and the light brown color. And this particular machine has a Gilmer drive, but what I'm going to show you applies to Poly V drive machines as well. So we're going to start up here talking about the Quill Shaft. The Quill Shaft sticks out a certain distance here. Shouldn't have any play, shouldn't be able to pull in and out, shouldn't be able to push in, shouldn't be able to wiggle it around. It should turn freely. So the Quill Shaft should look like this. There's a set screw here that removes this part, but I cover them with putty to prevent somebody accidentally loosening that. So this is how the Quill Shaft should look. On the back of the machine, there are two other shafts, auxiliary shafts, to drive accessories. This up here I'll call the drive sleeve shaft. Should look like this here, centered in the hole. Again, no wiggle, no play. Shouldn't protrude, shouldn't be rubbing on the metal at all. If you have problems there, your bearings may be worn. The lower shaft should protrude just a tiny bit. Shouldn't be rubbing on this plate, but this plate can be adjusted. Shouldn't be rubbing from the inside either. This is how it should look with the cover off. The idler shaft is dead even with the eccentric bushing here. Shouldn't be able to push or pull, shouldn't wiggle around. The drive sleeve up here is retained by a clip. Shouldn't be out or in. Let's look at the belt here. This is a Gilmer Belt. It rides on this shoulder right here. Just the force of it keeps it there. On the inside there's a shoulder on the sheave to keep it that way. The Poly V belt rides a little farther in on grooves. Okay, now we'll turn our attention to the speed dial. Shouldn't really have any wiggle on the handle. The dial itself corresponds with turning of the handle. Shouldn't be any looseness or play there. I'll do separate videos on that at another time. Let's look at the headstock lock. The wedge, when the lock is loose, the wedge just about touches the handle here. The back side, the wedge being loose, is protruding a little bit, and the worm gear is inside. Once in a while somebody thinks something broke off here, but this is how it looks when it's loosened. When you tighten the locks, they move inwards, so this will be inside the casting when it's tight onto your bench. Look at the handles here, the smaller handles called the feed stop for your drill depth. That's the smaller handle on the back side. The larger wing nut says Quill Lock, and that's on the front. You just need the extra room to clear your speed dial, speed handle. And I'm going to talk about the motor sheave as well. Notice here we're on the slow setting. With the slow setting, the drive belt, which is your lower belt, is very close to the outer edge, if not at the outer edge of your control sheave. And at the same time, your motor sheave is opened up. So that's how things should look at the slow speed setting. When you move to the high speed setting, it's just the opposite. The control sheave up here will be wide, and this sheave here will be closed. So they go opposite each other. Alright, and now let's look a little more detail at the interface here. Sometimes you'll see a break in the casting, like here. So if you see any crack, that's a bad casting, a definite problem. But again, the eccentric and your idler shaft are level, even with each other. I see a lot of machines where the idler shaft is pushed out, and that will wear both your drive belt and your upper belt, being the Poly V or the Gilmer Belt. So if this idler shaft is protruded out, you can get real fast belt wear. And now we'll try and take a look inside at the control sheave. Very frequent problem. The clip is attached to the control sheave bearing. If the clip is popped off, it's probable that your control sheave bearing has seized, or your sheaves may be stuck in position and you've pulled the button and bearing out. The one I looked at today was that way. So your clip should be over the quadrant here. Your bearing should still be inside your control sheave. But that's a very common problem because it's such a small bearing. I'll do a separate video on that sometime soon. Okay, so that's a quick run through on how things should look. I sell videos that show you how to do repairs if you're handy yourself. And of course you can send it in to me for service. Here's my email and here's my phone number. Feel free to email me for information or phone me. I did that in case I had problems with captions today.